Alright, everyone. So, I apologize for the audio being all over the place at the very start of of the stream there when I had the countdown running. Um, I unintentionally started the stream before I ran through all my usual audio checks, so anyway, um, it's all taken care of now. So, welcome to the stream, guys. And so, for this one, I know I mentioned in the last stream that I would begin trying to work with Ubisoft's um, free for non-commercial use motion capture dataset. I have begun to work with that off stream, but there have been some issues in the current method I've been using to try to add a root bone to the animations. Um, Rotates the root bone, but keyframes it the same way. It just creates a glitched mess. Right now, I also don't think I have force root lock on or nothing happens, but I'm 80 to 95% of the way there with this data set and getting it to work inside of Unreal, but I'm not there all the way yet. So next week, I think I should have it figured out. I only spent a day on it so far, and I encountered and fixed most of the issues within that period of time. So instead of working with this data set, I wanted to do a stream today. We kind of hit the limit with what you can do with the library animations. Um, I went ahead and I grabbed the files from a marketplace asset pack called the Movement Anim Set Pro by Kubold. It's all the animations are for the Unreal Engine 4 mannequin. I might look at retargeting them during the stream, or I might just use the UE4 mannequin. It should have a whole lot more covered. It'll have more coverage than the Lyra animations did. It's not perfect for motion matching, but it will allow us to get a bit further to see a bit more of what the system can do. And then finally in the next stream, hopefully I will have everything figured out with the root bone and Ubisoft's motion data stuff. That way we can use that and I can use something that you guys have access to without having to buy a specific pack off of the marketplace. Though, if you are interested in using motion capture, I mean not motion capture, well, yeah, motion capture animations and motion matching with a commercial project, a friend of mine just bought a motion capture suit and he's intending to upload or put some motion capture animation stuff up onto the Unreal Engine marketplace. So there is that. So I'm just gonna hop right into it. There's a root motion folder, and let's see, I'll just open up one of these. It's not an idle or a crouch. Here, a run forward loop. And so these are all, well, there's a folder that has in-place animations and a folder that has the root motion versions. We're going to be using the root motion versions of the animations for this, just so that it doesn't take longer to navigate through and add any of these animations to the data sets. I'm just going to delete this in-place folder out of here so they don't get in the way. Let's hope it doesn't freeze up or crash or anything. It's a lot of animations. I don't see why it would, but you never know. My other microphone sitting right here in my background. Okay, so that deleted. And I'm going to go ahead and make a new, let's see, a new data set here, a new data asset. Just lost my train of thought there for a moment. So this is just the name of Ubisoft's dataset, and it's the folders where I've been working on some of this stuff. I do have a retarget working. Whoops. I'll go ahead and show that to you guys. I posted a really short video in one of the channels. In the Outcast Dev School Discord. This is one of the animations from that set that I have been working with. Let me just try to increase the offset here, or find where that variable is at. And so I have it retargeting to the mannequin quite well. It's just a matter of the root bone having 90 degrees of keyframe rotation. In worst case scenario, I need to manually unrotate each of the poses for 7,000-ish frames. Best case scenario, I can find an easier, different way of adding a root bone into the animation so that I can import them directly to their provided FBX skeleton, which the current method I'm using is a plugin that will add a root bone to Mixamo animations, because the skeleton used by the Ubisoft dataset and the Mixamo skeleton are both the same skeleton. But I will hopefully have this stuff ready to use with motion matching for the next stream. Until then, we're going to use these animations from the Movement Anim Set Pro pack. I just wanted to show you guys that. So I'm going to go into here, I guess, and create, I believe it was 2 asset types. I've only done this once before, and now I'm doing it for a different skeleton, so I don't have to worry about using the IK retargeter right now. So if I go into mannequins, animations, there we need a post search database and a post search schema, which is what I thought. Is it bad that I cannot remember whether or not this is a post search database or schema? I'm not sure which one I clicked on. It's a schema, okay. I'll just go ahead and copy this. And I'll go ahead and create the database now. I'm using a different sort of technique. This is a different technique than distance matching, so I would not call these streams tutorials. They're more of me playing around in Unreal Engine, trying to figure things out, and trying to bring you guys along for the ride with me, so that I can answer questions where I can, or you guys can suggest things for me to take a look at, that kind of stuff. I will be doing a tutorial series on motion matching after I get it figured out, and what I'm doing to try to figure it out is that I'm just streaming myself while I'm trying to figure it out so that you guys can see that too. Does that answer your question, or okay, cool. Okay, so we're going to use the Unreal Engine 4 skeleton here. And I'm going to compare it with the other one and just match the settings here. Wrong folder. So we're going to track the left foot and the right foot. I'm gonna pose sample times at 0. I definitely want to play around with that some more sometime. But I'm gonna stick to what's been working so far, especially since the plugin is still experimental. So some things that should work might just not work currently. Okay, that should do it for the schema. Now I'll go ahead and open up the database. Ah, there it is. Did I really name these backwards still? Apparently so. All right, so I'm going to set this up with just a regular, regular forward locomotion to start with, and I do not fully recall the naming conventions used by this marketplace pack. So I'm going to dock this in my layout and look through these. I will start with, I'm not sure if they call it jogging or walk or running in this one. Okay, they use run, so run forward. Ah, okay, no underscore. So what's one good thing about this pack is that there are different starts. I'll go ahead and turn off root motion so that we can see what's actually happening here. I thought I unchecked that. Oh, hitting spacebar to try to play it, but since I unchecked that. So we can actually set things up with a standard non-strafing locomotion system where we can actually turn and start moving. And I think a animation set that's not motion capture data that has animations for this will work better. With a just standard locomotion without strafing, you will need less coverage. I know that the Matrix Awakens demo has animations like this. I have not made the hard drive space to download it yet, but when I do, I will definitely look at using some of those instead of these animations. But these will do for the time being. If you guys want to watch the stream and follow along later on before I get to actually making a series on this, you can try following along with what I'm doing in this one with the Matrix, with the animations from the Matrix Awakens demo. I'm not sure how it'll go. I'm not sure how this stream will go, but I certainly hope it goes well. So I'll go ahead and turn root motion back on, and I'm just going to start off with a forward start animation here. Did I really close the database? Yes. All right. That's fine. I'll just open it up again. And so the lead-in sequence would be an idle. I'll come back and put the idles in. Needed to take a drink there, and I still need to kind of clear my throat here. There we go, that's better. Sorry about that. So the lead-in sequence would be an idle. The follow-up sequence is going to be a run forward loop. I'm going to try to do this without lead-in or follow-up sequences to start with, and I will add them in if we need them, I think. So I will add in all of these starts here. Yep, that's my first goal, is to just be able to start, run, and stop correctly. So I'm going to put all the different starts in here, and we will see how well it works with the starts, the loops, and the stops without any lead-in or follow-up animations added in. We'll need to mark which one of these are looping, which of these are looping. And I'm going to start collapsing these. It's a lot to scroll through. Okay, this will be a useful one. Okay, so I went in order, but I started with the run forward start, so I'll add 3 more in. And this first one will be the loop, and it is looping. The second one will be the loop, but it's leaning to the left, and the third one will be the loop, but it's leaning to the right. So these will be for running in kind of a circle. Now, before I can use the database here, maybe I am better off just retargeting these. It might be faster, but I'm going to see if I can't just create a really quick animation blueprint here. I might just be able to characters, mannequins, animations, Manny animation blueprint. I might just be able to duplicate and retarget the animation blueprint and use the do that, and then retarget. There we go. It retargeted those animations, but we don't need them. It's fine. So I'll open this up, go into the anim graph, and there, we'll set our post search database, compile, save. We should just be fine closing out of that. And now I'll go into the third person blueprint. I'm going to swap the mesh, and I'm going to swap the animation blueprint to what is it called? I'm gonna add a UE4 suffix onto this. Didn't mean to hit enter and open that. Okay. Now let's see. Okay, so it's not working right away, which is totally fine. It's totally fine. Because I think I know what I forgot to do here. I think. Okay, added the post search schema to that. So these animations are from a marketplace pack called the Movement Anim Set Pro. I do not remember how. I think it's like $60 or so, something right in that around in that range. But I think there's a lot of these animations or a lot of similar animations you could use within the Matrix Awakens demo. I just haven't downloaded it yet, and I have this pack. I've had it for a while, so I figured I'd use these today, and I'd try to get that downloaded sometime, and I could look at those another time, maybe for the actual videos. Because I like to cover using motion capture data in the motion matching video series and and looping animations. I'd like to try to do it both ways. So where was I? I was A posing, so I'll go back into here. And I'm going to bypass all of that. I think I know why. I might have been inside of main states, and I might have been using... No? Okay. Well, I don't know if that would have fixed it or not, but let's see. No, I didn't think it would. It would be, I'd need to idle. That's the problem. I forgot to put an idle animation in to the database. Nope, I am using the, let's see, which plugins do I have here? All the plugins I've enabled for this project are under the animation section in the animation category. I've added the animation locomotion library, which gives access to things like distance matching. There's the modifier library, which will add modifiers for creating distance curves for animations with root motion, or automatically adding footstep syncers. There's animation warping, which will do stride, orientation, and slope warping. Contextual animation, which I've enabled but I haven't played around with yet. And then the motion, I'm specifically using the motion trajectory plugin and the pose search plugin, which when used together can be used to create motion matching. They're both experimental right now. You can definitely see how I initially set things up. I'm operating off of that setup mostly here. You can go look at my previous stream I did on motion matching. And so I'm pretty sure I put a skeletal mesh into the schema. I can double check that, though I'm pretty sure that I did that. And even though this is getting less organized, I'm going to go ahead and move these into the main folder so they're right next to my animation blueprint. I don't have to navigate around while I'm working on it. Yep, there is a skeletal mesh here. So I'm going to add an index. It's like I always, no matter what, yawn throughout these streams. I don't know why I don't usually yawn this much at this time of day unless I'm streaming. Okay, so movement anim sets pro, animations, root motion, and I'm just going to search up idle. I'm going to grab this, the index is down here. Where did it go? Oh, I cleared my search. Here, I'm gonna grab idle number 1. I'll put that in, and did I mark these all as looping? Yep, I'm gonna mark idle as looping as well. And so still nothing. I wonder. I bet. I think I know what's happening here. If I go back into the movement anim set profile, there is a separate mannequin that it is using that this is not using. So if I delete, I will try deleting this skeletal mesh here, and it should give me the option to replace the references. I can replace the references with the other mannequin, and there we go. Now, nope, still not working. So game, characters, mannequin, UE4 meshes. So this is the correct mannequin here. Though I wonder if I would have just changed it to the other one, if that would have worked. But oh well. I'm going to make sure that the problem is with motion matching and that there's not some weird problem somewhere else. So I'm going to, yeah. Okay, this is odd. I'm going to look back at the Movement Anim Set Pro. But first I'll disconnect this. Yep. I'm just going to do run forward. There we go. And so that's the issue. So if I delete this, I can replace the reference to this skeleton. And save. And I should be able to do, okay, well there's nothing referencing that. So now, it should all be using the correct skeleton. So, I plugged the wrong thing in just a moment ago. Still a pose. We don't need any of this in here right now. So the animations now are using the right skeleton. The database is mannequin UE4 post search database. This is interesting. I honestly have no idea why it's not working. The animation graph seems to be fine, so it has to be the post search database or the schema. So I'm going to go ahead and open up the other post search database and schema again for the UE5 mannequin that I put together. I'm going to put it on my other screen. And I'm just going to compare these two. Oops. Okay. So the left foot and the right foot are the two bones, that's correct. The pose sample time is 0 on both of these. The trajectory sample times are -1, 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Automatic data preprocessor. It's using the mannequin skeleton. It is in the correct folder. So let's check the database now. So pose weight is 1, trajectory weight is 1. There's the sequences. That's interesting. Oh, never mind. So, type weights are the default. Yeah, all that seems to be fine. So the issue isn't within those two. I'm open to suggestions, guys, if you have any. I know we'll get this figured out eventually here. Just have to check everything because I apparently missed something. Maybe I need to set root motion from everything. I doubt. Yeah, no, that wouldn't have fixed it. Okay, so there is a trajectory. So we can see it being predicted here. I'm not sure if I understand exactly what you are suggesting. I think the skeleton should be fine. That's alright. That's alright. I think the skeleton should be alright because I can go in here and I can grab I can grab these animations individually, plug them in, and they work just fine. I'm gonna make sure I'm able to get an actual trajectory. I don't see why I would not be able to get a trajectory. Yes, I'm able to get a trajectory. I'll want to eventually edit that so that I'm not casting every frame or every tick. I'll need to cast once, set a variable, and if that variable is valid, just get the trajectory. But I'm not going to worry about that right now. I want to fix this issue. I wonder if it has to do with like animation. No, it's not going to have to do with the animation compression settings because the Ubisoft stuff I imported worked fine. Okay, so I'm going to yeah, I'm going to take the animations. I know I was working with the other skeleton. So I'm going to go into the Movement Anim Set Pro, into Animations, Root Motion, and I'm going to search run forward I'm going to select all of these, and I am going to... Okay, I understand what you're saying. I think I've already fixed that. Maybe I haven't. Okay. So... let's go into content and filter by... let's look for skeletal mesh here. So there's only one skeletal mesh, but that's not a skeleton. So there should have only been 2 Unreal Engine 4 skeletons to begin with. And I did delete the second one. So I'm going to try to just avoid that entirely by retargeting these animations to the UE5 skeleton and using the other animation blueprint and switching out the skeleton in the pose search schema. So okay, it's only letting me do one at a time. That sucks, but I can deal with that. There should be a way to do this in bulk. Probably. I'll just open the IK retargeter for this. Nope. UE4 mannequin. Where is that? Characters. UE4 mannequin. Rigs, maybe? Yep. So we already have run forward, loop, lean right. So we'll do run forward, loop, lean left. And can I select multiple ones? And I want to make sure these still have root motion. They should. Nope. Root motion is not being retargeted. So I'm going to delete those 2 animations, and that sucks. I want to make sure root motion was maintained in the original animations when I did the skeleton. I don't see why it wouldn't. That would be a really, really weird issue. So I'm going to check it either way. Maybe some settings need to be changed with the retargeter to get root motion. So I turn off enable root motion. It is moving. Yeah, so this has root motion. Gosh, this... Okay, so the last thing I'm going to look and see here is if I can do that, and I play. Okay, so I do have the correct animation blueprint selected. So it's not that. I probably should have checked that first, but wasn't the issue, so. I want to that UE4 post search database. The schema is using the correct skeleton. The database is using the correct schema. these sequences in the database. I really do not see what the issue could be here. I do not understand what is happening. I was hoping to have stuff up and going before the 45-minute mark here. Just because this was really easy to set up last time, and I don't understand what's different about it this time other than the different skeleton. I really do not understand what is not working here. I'll do a debug draw. It's like it's not even searching for poses and trying to play poses. It's just showing me the trajectory. There's no debug for anything else. Just odd. So why isn't it searching the poses? Foot left and foot right are selected in the schema. So it should be able to search just fine. I don't think that what I did just there would make any sort of difference. No, it doesn't. This is strange. I could try to get this, I could try to retarget this. Maybe if I set the route to be the retarget route for both of these. For the IK mannequin. And then for the UE4 mannequin. And back to the retargeter. Yeah, no, that gives me some weird results. If I don't retarget IK, it's even worse. So the pelvis would need to be the retarget route. So why isn't the root motion being retargeted? I wonder if it's, no, it can't be the compression unless there's some weird different compression settings for these by default. No, or it's using default compression settings. But if I can retarget the root bone, then I can just use everything I was using for the old one, and that bothers me because I don't know what's wrong with the new one with this, using it with the UE4 mannequin, but oh well, if I can get it to work, I can get it to work, so. Oh, okay, there is a root chain. I keep knocking this thing on my microphone thing off. And so translation mode should be globally scaled, that's for sure. Will that retarget correctly now? Yep. That did the trick. So I'll go ahead and retarget the rest of these. There we go. I'll save them all. Now I'm going to go back to the animation graph. Nope, not the animation graph. I'm going to close this animation graph. I'm going to go to third person blueprint, back into the third person character. And I'm going to reset this mesh to be the Unreal Engine 5 mesh. And I'm going to tell it to use the Manny blueprint. And now if I hit play, it's going to use the messed up Ubisoft stuff, which is good. So now at least motion matching is functioning. And yeah, the root motion fix was just, to reiterate that, was just under chain mapping, selecting root, and in these settings, changing translation mode to globally scaled. And now I can open up the Manny animation blueprint, and it is using just the one that I titled post search database, I think. Yeah. So I will get rid of the retargeted Ubisoft sequence, and I'm going to can I drag and drop the animations in? That would be great if I could. I think I could. I think that's what I did earlier. I have to actually create the slats though, so I'll just create a bunch. And do this one at a time. Another thing I should have checked before, and I'll need to check here, is that there aren't any empty slats here. That will cause it to be stuck in an A pose. I just remembered that. And the other database might have had an empty slot that I overlooked. And I should have checked that to begin with. I'm going to make this a lot bigger on my screen here. And I'm just going to leave these open. So there's right, there's left, there's forward loop, retargeted. This should be 135 degrees. That should also be 135 degrees, 180 degrees left, 180 degrees right. Okay, so far so good. 90 degrees left. The next one should be 90 degrees right. And there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of these left. Okay. There we go. It's kind of working. I don't have the character blueprint stuff set up. And of course it's running all over the place. I think when it retargeted, I think maybe I'll just need to turn force root lock on all of these. I'm gonna save and close out of some of these tabs. I don't need everything open. And I'm just going to go ahead and open all of these animations up and one by one go through and enable that force root lock option. So force root lock, save, close. I'm just going to repeat that process for each one of these. Did I accidentally close out of the whole thing? Yes, I did. Alright. So that one is fine. This one needs it. And control spacebar. If you just check something in and then hit control spacebar, it'll toggle that thing. So you have to be careful to click outside before you open up the content drawer again, or you'll just end up accidentally undoing what you just did. Okay. Now all of their roots should be locked. And I'm still getting that same issue. Though not with all of these, just with... So maybe I missed one of them. Yeah, where is run forward loop? Yep, I missed one. So it is not doing the right stop animation every time. And of course, I need to change some of the settings in the movement component. I'm gonna set orient rotation to movement to true. And I'm also going to turn off use controller rotation yaw. Yeah, it's funny that it's using the wrong animation, and I know how to fix that. And it is not, oh wow, okay, that's another animation I missed. It's trying to use the spin animation. So I think what might help this would be figuring out which of these animations and which of these animations the root isn't locked. And I wish it would spin. Okay, I'm just gonna get it to idle. And it spun there almost. Yeah, bulk edit properties would be the way to do it. Should be is the way I should be doing it. You're right about that. So let's try to make this thing a bit more decisive about what it's doing, and let's also lock that animation in. So it's been forever since I've used bulk edit properties. I don't know why I don't use it. It would make my life easier if I just did. I have nothing against it. It's just I'm in the habit of not using it because I did not learn about its existence for a while. Okay. There's one. There's another. Okay. So what I can do to try to nudge this in the correct direction would be matching the movement speed. The max walk speed to those animations. If I remember correctly, it's 350. And my camera is going all over the place there. Put this in slow motion and look for foot sliding. Okay, yeah. 350 seems to be correct. Now we're getting it to spin. Now that those values are closer. It's not perfect. And I feel like we're going in slow motion. So maybe that isn't the right speed. Let me see if I have yeah, dynamic play rate should be disabled for now. My camera keeps going all over the place because I just got a new mouse, and as I let go of it, I move my hand and I end up nudging it all over the place because it's a slightly different shape. Maybe 350 is the right speed for this animation set. It feels slow though. And there is lots of foot sliding with these turnarounds, which could be fixed by using a purely like just root motion instead of in-place setup, which would be interesting to try. We're not going to have full coverage, but I would like to see what happens if I turn on root motion from everything. But that needs, okay. Huh. That's funny. And we get stuck. And of course we, in some ways it feels a lot better because the character is actually moving because we're using root motion instead of in place. But as we can see, the character does get stuck because it doesn't default into the stopping animation, and the running while leaning animations, can I get out of the loop? Don't want to play. I wonder if that'd be any different if I plug in a controller. Because right now it's just like trying to make me turn straight. It's not doing that curve that a controller would do. But I'm curious to see what would happen if I do orientation warping here. set that to graph input for locomotion angle, and I'm not sure if this is going to work because we're using root motion. We'll see. And for locomotion angle, I will put in, yeah, this should only be used with strafing. I'm not sure what I'm thinking right now. This is definitely not going to work, but let's see what happens. Okay. That kinda helped. So the problem here is the lack of coverage with animations where we are circling around. And I think it's because the trajectory doesn't match a circling trajectory. It's not predicting a smooth change in rotation because I'm using a mouse. But it still isn't even doing the pivots or spins that aren't 180 degrees. And even those, it's kinda messing up. So I'm going to turn off root motion. Motion matching will work great with it if you have the coverage, but if you don't, you get those sorts of issues where you can only move in ways that your animations have coverage for. I'm curious to see what happens if I don't orient rotation to movement. I think that it might hurt rather than help. Yeah, that's what I thought. These spinning animations really are not working well with the in-place locomotion here. I think I have an idea on how we might be able to get it working a bit better with root motion. And to get coverage in the angles that it's not covering. But, of course, it was playing the wrong animation. Here. Let's just look at how it starts. That start wasn't too bad. That start wasn't too bad either. I'm going to look at this in slow motion, though. It is definitely very indecisive. It needs to pick something and commit to it instead of jumping around. I'm going to, in order to try to get a better idea of what it's doing, I'm going to turn off blend time on this. That's interesting. It needs to select and commit to an animation it would look a lot better. It's like it's spinning around the wrong way. Alright, so, it could be a matter of matching the character's rotation speed to the animation set, but the whole point of motion matching is to be able to change those things and have, to some extent, or to some extent, adapt to that change. We're in a situation here where we're trying to use short looping animations, though, so I wonder how adding in, the before and after animations would affect this. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I also don't have an idle in here, I think. Oh, no, I do. But I'm in the wrong post search database. I should delete these so that I don't accidentally go into either of them. I don't know if I have an idle here. Looks like I do not have an idle. Did I honestly? Oh, no, I did mark the ones I need to mark as looping to be looping. Okay, from second there, as I was scrolling, I didn't see any of those boxes checked in, and I was worried. So, I'm going to open up the retargeter again. Characters. Oh. Yep, here it is. Nope, wrong one. And I can UE4, rigs, UE4 Manny to UE5 Manny, and then I'll search up idle 1. Okay, here. Where did it go? There it is. I don't think this will have an effect because it's an idle animation. There's no root movement, but just to be safe, I'm checking that. And now I think it might be jittering even more than it was before. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to, gosh, when you have this many starts, I haven't done enough of this motion matching stuff yet to know whether or not it would be better to do there's just so many things that you could follow an idle with. Follow up with. You have all the different starts, and I don't want to add a bunch of idles in there, though. Maybe that'd be the way to do it, to have an idle that goes into every stop, or multiple instances. An idle that goes into every start, or maybe multiple instances of each. You'd only. Well, I could do a run into a stop, and each stop would just have that run loop being the lead in sequence. So I'll do that. There's the stop. And there's run forward loop. So there's our lead-in sequence, and idle will come after all the stops. So idle, and that should be looping. And then run forward loop should also be looping. This is a 180-degree turn. So I'm going to try putting a run forward loop into both of those spots. And this is another turn. So I'll try putting a run forward loop into both of these spots. Another turn. So I'll try the same thing again. And now I'm going to see how this looks. So we are idling. We started. We spun as our stop. And we're not spinning when we're rotating around. I think it's honestly a matter of tweaking the rotation speed of the actual third-person character's movement. We don't have enough coverage to not use in our animations, so that we're going to have to make sure those match more closely. But we definitely end up in an idle pose now. Even though it takes us a while to get there, I want to put this in slow motion. It could do a bit better with which starts it chooses. And with stopping in instances like these. So I was just facing this way. And I ran, and it does all of this before stopping. So there's a couple of things here, two things that I want to try. I'm going to go back into the pose search database. Actually, I'm going to open up the pose search schema, and I'm going to add two more bones. I'm going to add the hand. Well, I'm going to add both hands. And I'm going to see what sort of effect that has on stabilizing. It has the effect of breaking everything. It's not what I was expecting. I'll just get rid of them for now. I'm going to add pose sample time, more pose sample times in. I'm going to match trajectory sample times. The guide I followed in the previous stream had a single pose sample time and set it to 0. I'm going to see what happens when I add multiple ones in, and negative number there might break it. I could foresee that. Yeah. Well, maybe it needs to just be positive numbers. Nope. And it's not giving me more information here. Will it work with just 2? No, it's an experimental feature, so some of this stuff could definitely just be broken when you put other values in. Trajectory sample distances might be interesting. -0.5, -0.2. I'm making numbers up. 0.2, 0.1. I'll do 0.2 and 0.5. I have no idea if that's going to help or hurt. Yeah, it's still not even working with trajectory sample distances. So, can I get it back to the point where it's working? That's the question now. Foot left, foot right. -1, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Well, I think I might have broken it here. So can I just undo? These are the same settings. And this is back to where it was working. And it works. So there's definitely an element of this being an experimental plugin to everything here, and we could see results with this animation set, for example, increase drastically just with an update to the plugin. It's experimental, so that could really be the cause of lots of our issues. I'll probably wait to make actual real videos on this until the plugin is at least in beta, or maybe in an experimental version 0.2 instead of 0.1, or maybe it's at 0.01. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'll probably wait for a beta, because everything I thought to try just now ended up completely breaking it. It's definitely not production ready. Well, it's fun to play around with. I'm not sure, honestly, how far we can get. However, I still want to try to use some of Ubisoft's dataset and to see if we can get better results with that. So I'm not sure how much further I'd want to push it with the looping animations while it still breaks when you tweak little settings like that. So I think I might end the stream for today here. And then by the next stream, I'll hopefully have looked through the Ubisoft stuff some more, and I'll have a method for getting the stuff into Unreal that works, and I'll share that method with you guys in a video eventually. But I didn't want to spend a 2-hour stream trying to debug my process for importing an animation from Blender to Unreal, especially when that process takes 10, 20, like 10 minutes just to process and add a root bone where Blender is frozen, because it's a 7,000 frame animation that I've been working with, and that would be a boring stream. So yeah, I'm gonna end it out here, guys. And I'll definitely be back next week with a new stream where we will see if we can't get something that looks better than this with the Ubisoft dataset. I could try strafing with this, but if standard locomotion is so undecisive and I can't affect many things to make it more decisive, then without breaking the system, then I don't even want to try to attempt using the strafing animations in it currently. So I think that's the plan. I will, of course, have the next Lyra Locomotion video out between this stream and the next. I was a bit busy towards the end of this last week, this previous week, and or whenever I was supposed to post the video. I don't remember exactly. And it's been 2 weeks instead of 1. But this video just needs edited, and then I'll have it posted. I actually had to re-record it. I decided to cover things differently after editing and watching through what part of what I had edited. So the Lyra Locomotion videos shouldn't have such a long time between them as I put them out in the future. So thanks for sticking with just completely tripped over my tongue there. So thanks for sticking with the stream, guys, and I'll see you guys next week in the next stream and in the Outcast Dev School Discord. The links in the descriptions of all of my videos. I will go ahead and throw it into the stream chat too. And in the next stream, we'll work with some actual motion captured animation sets and see where we can get. So I'll see you guys then. I'm bad at doing stream outros. I just meander on and continue to talk. So, alright. I'm now clicking the stop